Yo people, what's going on? Welcome back to another club debate brought to you by Super 6. And in this video, we are speaking about top 4 European spots, all that kind of stuff. Who's going to be in the Champions League? Who isn't? So I think me and Spraggy may as well just leave now.
No, this is the debate for us. I think we're a little bit.
You'll get Conference League.
A little bit. All right, just relax a little bit.
Also, this is where you can bring no rivalry, no bias. You can just bring true football opinion.
No rivalry or bias.
As we stand right now, as we stand right now, Spurs have a game in hand. They're on 53 points. United are on 47. Villa are on 55, which means that you are 8 points behind to get into the top 4.
Yeah, but Villa are getting smashed week in, week out, aren't they?
No,
they couldn't beat Man United home and away. They got smashed by Timo Werner's Spurs. I think Villa are the ones that are really...
What does that even mean?
Timo Werner's Spurs. Yeah, he plays for Spurs.
I think Villa are the one that... They played 6 games for us, now it's Timo Werner's
They're the
Spurs.
sinking stone, aren't they, in the Premier League at the moment, Aston Villa, in my opinion. Out of all those sides to get into the Champions League places, I'd rather be a side with momentum building up to try and get into the top 4.
So you think Manchester United are side with momentum, do you? The team with 0 goal difference in the league, and you're going for United.
Spurs are running
for Manchester United.
They just beat you 4-0. They just beat you 4-0, so Spurs have got momentum. So I think Spurs will come forth at the way it's going, because I think Villa haven't got the experience in this position.
Well, having said that, Villa's fixtures, they do have West Ham away, Man City away. They've got a derby against Wolves at Villa Park. They've got Brentford at home, Arsenal away, Bournemouth, Chelsea at home, Brighton away, Liverpool, Palace away.
They're tough fixtures, without a doubt, and it's not going to be easy. But if you ask me who's favourite between Spurs and Aston Villa right now, I probably would have to say favourite is 4th for Spurs. But if Champions League is top 5 this year, which is looking very likely with the English teams progressing in Europe, I just don't see a world, even if Aston Villa, who aren't flopping at all, by the way, we've won 4 out of our last 6, just to put that out there.
Do you want the chance to win £1 million? All you have to do is download Super 6. The link is right here. You could be a whole lot richer, all for predicting some football scores. Look at all that money. Check it out.
We're doing absolutely fine. Worst performance of the season.
4-0 to Spurs at home.
Worst performance of the season, without a doubt. Emre got it wrong. It didn't go very well. But Manchester United have a goal distance of 0. They will not string together. I'm not sure if Manchester United will get 9 more points this season, which means that if we get 2 points...
See, this is what I don't like, Vincent. Buvey made you angry.
And now you've taken it out on me.
Taking it out on me and Spraggy? Like, what's all that about?
All right, 2 points is exaggeration, but I just don't see... we're not going to get 0 points, right? So let's say... we go on a worse run of form. At the moment,
let's say you lose half of your games.
Yeah, right. At the moment, we're getting about 2 points a game this season. Let's say that drops down.
Let's say you end up on 70 points.
If we get 70 points...
It's very unlikely United get 23 out of 30.
Man United don't get 70 points, yeah.
I think 70 points, you've got no chance.
Adam,
you need us to get us less than 65.
We're going to really struggle to play Champions League football next season, aren't we?
We're not. I've given up on it after... When we lost against Fulham at home, 2-1, I think it was. I can't remember.
It's all a blur.
Iwobi was looking like
dream.
Iwobi was looking like prime Marco van Basten, wasn't it? It was amazing.
You're not shitting it from Arsenal and
No, it
Liverpool.
was amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Iwobi was running around the pitch like Kaká for AC Milan and all that. Do you remember that? I've never seen anything like it. Iwobi in a Fulham kit.
Where's this movie come from?
No, but it's madness. It's a madness. The thing for Man United.
By the way, go check our last debate that we released. Buvey was shitting himself
about winning the league, and now all of a sudden he's the most confident man.
There's something about it for me. Every time United get into the Champions League, they always get smashed in the group. It's embarrassing at this point. I'd rather see some fresh blood in the Champions League next season, 1,000,000%. United can't compete if they get in it.
Villa would be fresh.
Would you think Villa compete if they get in it?
They've got a unique chance because look what Unai Emery did with Villarreal. They beat Bayern Munich a couple of years ago, got to semi-finals.
They got European pedigree as well. He won as many European Cups as Man City.
He does have a bit of a track record.
Good European pedigree.
We're talking about modern era. That was in 1976 or whatever.
Emery domestically, in terms of the league performance, does have a little bit of a track record of falling off and prioritising cup competitions, which is absolutely fine. Don't get me wrong.
But I think it's a bit different at Villa, where if you get that Champions League spot, it's
massive.
I take the Conference League and no Champions League right now. Really? Yeah, 100%. You guys support teams who win cups all the time. Villa have not.
Hear that, Adam?
Villa.
Yeah, wait, you got a Tottenham fan. There's a Tottenham fan at the table.
We're in the same boat. Me and you're in the same boat.
You lot win cups all the time. You're sitting next to them.
But also, Spurs have been in a Champions League final. They've had a little bit of experience.
Were they? They were in it for about 30 seconds, weren't they? Until they bottled it.
You can't bottle it if you. Oh God, you've done me. You've done me. You've done me. But you can't bottle a Champions League final if it's a handful.
You lost it while you got on the plane, mate. When you get on the easy jet, you lost it already.
I was like 5 or 6 years old.
No, but Villa won it. It meant nothing.
When won what?
The Intertoto Cup, Schmeichel parading about with it and that. Like, it meant nothing. Champions League football.
Here's the thing, right? You're after sitting there and saying, if we qualify for the Champions League, we're not going to compete. Someone said that. Not 100% sure which direction it came.
No, I was just saying because his argument was it doesn't matter if United make the Champions League, they're not going to compete anyway. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not about that. It's about being in the Champions League.
Last year when Emery comes in, Jared looks like he legitimately might get us relegated. So genuinely,
we
were so bad. It was grim as it's ever been. And then he comes in, has an incredible turnaround, outperforms any expectations for last season, finishes the season so strongly, and we sneak into Europe. If we get into the Champions League next year, would it be a repeat of what's happened to Newcastle this year, where you've got high-level games? Because playing in Europe, when it's the Champions League, you have to put out your best team. You're not putting out your second team in the middle of the week and then trying to stay fresh for the league. And if that happens, are we going to be able to compete on two fronts with our current squad and with the finances getting stricter and stricter, where they're punishing teams?
But being in the Champions League, massively boosts your.
You're going to generate revenue, aren't you?
You're going to generate revenue, but you're not going to fall in that 3-year window of where you can spend a lot of money. Like, we're not going to be able to go out and buy like 3-4 high quality players by the sounds of the rumors from the finances. So I would love to see Aston Villa play in the Champions League. I'm not trying to pretend that I wouldn't, but maybe if we can only go for one of the two this year and things start to fall off, I would prioritize winning the cup, and then the project moves at a slower pace. We're going to the Europa League next year. Maybe we build on, because
it might not happen like that. Chelsea got to improve. Man United will definitely improve in the next 5 years.
I hear that Chelsea were going to improve. They're in the bottom half of the table.
But Chelsea will. I know it's ridiculous, but Chelsea will improve.
Manchester United
and Newcastle will as well.
Newcastle
it's a very
improve.
Competitive league, so it might be sort of now or never.
The
for
other
Villa
thing with Villa is
with the financial constraints.
What's the difference between that and win the cup?
If Villa actually got in, which I think they might, fifth certainly seems a possible finish for them. If Villa actually did end up competing in the Champions League, there's no reason they don't get out the group. You know, look, if they're very unlucky with the group, if it ends up being
next year, isn't it?
If it ends up being that you're competing against like top teams or teams with pedigree, even if it's the likes of AC Milan or Dortmund or whatever, I think you'd struggle. But equally, think about the group that Arsenal had in the.
We won't get that group.
Or you could get like Copenhagen, Galatasaray.
It's going to be different.
Villa literally can't get a group that United got like that because of the way the ranking system worked. That's why Newcastle were with PSG, Dortmund, and AC Milan, because they've not been.
But why were Man United ranked? They've been a Europa League side more in the last 10 years than the Champions League side. Why
they've been in Europe?
Why are Manchester? You're asking why Man United in one of the top two.
But you haven't had a record in the last 10 years.
Emery's track record has proven over and over again that in Europe he's able to find a way to do amazing things.
I actually think going to the game at the weekend, because it's obviously Villa versus Spurs are two of the teams fighting for fourth the most right now. I actually think that Emery played it a little bit like it was a knockout tie.
He made a mistake
away from home and tried to be a little bit too pessimistic. It worked in the first half. You didn't have a single shot. Yes, you had a lot of the ball.
Yeah.
We had a lot of counters. But once you scored that first goal, everything fell to pieces.
Well, it just what I didn't expect Villa to do, and it was actually credit to some degree to Emery and changing his system based on what was able to stop Tottenham mostly in this season, was to play defensive sort of transitional low block football. But it played well into our hands because we suddenly have a first 11. What are you doing? Suddenly there's a first 11 that was able to maintain and keep the ball and create chances. The first half, you're right, it was pretty even. But as soon as we scored, it was pretty much.
So do you fancy it as a lock, given the players coming back?
No, yeah. If we can continue with this first 11, I don't think we'll have an issue finishing in the top four.
Villa are missing a lot of players, but at obviously other points of the season, United have been missing half their squad at times. Spurs, the start of the season with their first 11 people were touting them for the title, lose a lot of important players. But we've just lost players at the wrong point of the season. Obviously, McGinn lost his head against you. We're going to miss him for 3 games. We've had a lot of cruciates. So it's that
wasn't a red, was it, as well?
No, I don't think so. But it's also not going to be overturned.
I feel like in this day and age it is, though.
I know.
Do you think that we're all just kind of being a little bit kind to Tottenham here? Are they definitely going to finish?
Can I just say why? No, the thing is, though, someone's got to catch them.
To play on par.
And the problem is Manchester United aren't going to catch them. Because when you look at our fixtures, we've got Brentford away, Chelsea away, Liverpool at home, Bournemouth away, Newcastle at home.
Apart from Liverpool, that sounds like very winnable fixtures to me.
Arsenal at home.
Did you see us against? Did you see us
6 or 7 games in a row right now?
Everton. Did you see us against Everton? We're abysmal.
We weren't good against
Newcastle at home, Burnley at home, Palace away, Arsenal at home, Brighton away. What I'm saying there is, of course, a lot of those games are favourable for us. But there's also Brentford away is difficult. Chelsea could grab a draw.
Brighton
and when
away,
you're dropping
I don't think
points,
Brentford away is difficult. They're terrible,
mate.
I mean, we lost to Brighton at home this season.
You'll beat
We've got to go away.
But Brentford have taken 7 points out of like 50 or
My
something.
point is, we've got to get almost maximum points to catch these guys.
We're not coming into this race as a team that is. Buvey spoke about momentum. We're not coming into this team, and as Finton rightly pointed out, our goal difference is 0+1 or whatever it is. As someone who's looking ready to hunt down Tottenham or Aston Villa. And you talk about the a 3-horse title race this season where every team is breathing down each other's necks. I don't think anyone's breathing down 4 and 5. I don't think we're that team this year.
If anything,
I don't think
they're fighting for 4th and 5th.
They're fighting for 4th and 5th, and it looks like the nature of the coefficient with Arsenal going through to the quarterfinal that 4 and 5th will both be Champions League football next season. So
you think your
I think the
over?
Champions League,
Genuinely.
Well, I think we could win the FA
They
Cup.
got Liverpool in a cup.
I think if United win the FA Cup and come sixth,
But you can't talk about the FA. You're out the FA Cup, in my opinion, because it's Liverpool.
And we could be at the time.
I think anything could happen in that game. FA Cup tie, Liverpool going for the league.
Do you not see any credence of what happened last season for United? The back end of last season, I thought you were playing ugly football, but good results.
United's fixtures sound so favourable to me.
Against Brighton,
I don't think so. I think Brighton away last game of the season
consistently failed to beat teams they should be beating.
Liverpool.
We'll drop a lot of points.
That's the thing.
We won't beat Chelsea.
You're looking at that as a perspective of someone who sees Man United as Man United against Brentford, against Brighton. But that we, unfortunately, have not been that team who can go into those games and expect 3 points.
Can I ask you, Sprag, just obviously United fan to United fan, anyone else chip in as well. Why do you, what, because I'm someone that thinks Ten Hag should stay. I think he deserves a little bit more time. And I think this season, the momentum, negative momentum from the start of the campaign in terms of injuries and all that kind of stuff, I think it's just raveled on, got bigger and bigger, and the problems have just got too big. And we've kind of gone down that rabbit hole. But am I being too kind to Ten Hag there, or do you think it's more than just injuries? Do you think, because the injuries of like Luke Shaw, Lissandro have basically been out for the whole season. Your midfield's been shot. Your attackers like Sancho and Anthony, one of them can't be arsed and one of them's crap. Like, you know.
Yeah, and I think I go back and forth with it. I think you can look at the sort of cycle of 2-3 years sacking managers, and at some point you have to give someone a fair shake of the stick. I do think at times Ten Hag has been intimidated by the job to a point, or when it's obviously probably the most high pressure job in the Premier League, you could argue, trying to resurrect, the team that dominated and had that dominance for so long, that he has made bad decisions. And obviously our acquisition of players, Sancho and Anthony to name, 2 of a bunch, has been very poor. I don't know how much decision of that falls on him. My big thing is I don't know who you go out and get. I don't want to have every 2 years that we just give up on somebody. Obviously, it's a little bit of a not entirely accurate comparison, but Sir Alex Ferguson didn't start his tenure at United very well. I'm not saying that Ten Hag's necessarily going to go and do that, but at some point, you have to bite the bullet and say, we're going to just back this guy a little bit longer than we have been backing. And I think Mourinho even, Van Gaal, of course, and Solskjaer, who was originally caretaker, all of them, after Moyes, have felt like stopgap managers. This is the guy, and so have our signings, Ibrahimovic and Falcao.
Because your signings every time have been for the manager. Whereas with Spurs, even though they had a lot of injuries, when one of their main players has got injured, they've kind of brought in a similar profile to that position. Whereas like if you're playing Casemiro at 1 week and then it's Scott McTominay in there 1 week in midfield, it's just so different that I think
it's like with Lissandro, when you take Lissandro Martinez out of the team,
put Maguire in.
You haven't got a light for light.
I think he's so easy for Man United.
Players there that he doesn't want. I think a lot of the players.
I think the club is finally, obviously, with the change in ownership structure, is finally going to get its point, and we've already seen them United making some moves in, like bringing in backstage people, to the point of having way more cohesion than we've had in the last 7-8 years, right? Unfortunately for Ten Hag, that might also come with he's not our guy. We want our guy.
Who am I hearing now?
Who am I hearing for Ten Hag? I'm hearing Gareth Southgate.
No, but you look at Ange Postecoglou.
I've been banging the...
If Postecoglou can come in at Spurs and do an incredible job in such a short amount of time, why can't Man United, as a big club...
Can I just say...
He actually hasn't done that.
This time last season, Ten Hag had done more than Postecoglou.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But where we sit right now, you're
judging them on different terms.
Yeah,
like this time next season,
but your managers like players going in and out of form.
If you have
lifting a trophy.
If you
the way they're playing is beautiful points.
If Ten Hag had that season at Spurs, he'd be their best manager with a statue outside.
You take Postecoglou. You take Postecoglou over Ten Hag. Ten Hag. I've been banging the Ten Hag.
I like Postecoglou, but he's not a Man United man.
Just to move it
nor is Ten Hag.
He might not be known.
No, I think we're proven already that he isn't.
I don't think it has been proven.
He's got to go, mate.
He's got to go.
He's got his time. His time's got to go.
Why do you think
I'm Ten Hag.
It's one of the
Don't
most
do them stupid eyes.
But then and then what? You move. You bring
he does
someone else in.
I know. Yeah.
He's fucking wind you up. Go on, Rory, chip in.
No, then you bring someone else in.
Not often I say this, but Flav's bang on.
Go on.
No, but you bring someone else in, and then what? He's there for another 2 years.
Well, you bring in someone better though. He's not.
You know what? You know what it is, yeah. You know, last season when I looked at Ten Hag and when we got Ten Hag,
He's rubbish, man.
I was like, go get Ten Hag now. Go get Ten Hag now.
Yeah.
But when I look at all the options that are there now, I go, who the fuck wants any of these?
Adam, is it not as easy as this? Because I feel like Chelsea and Manchester United are in a similar issue with regard to a manager. You know, when people talk to me about, when I say Pochettino out, they go, well, where do you want to go? What do you think the answer is? I think that the answer for Chelsea is somebody, the only people that should apply for the job or can apply for the job are people who have got a Champions League in the bag.
Just say Mourinho.
If you have won, look, I like the idea of Mourinho. I genuinely do. I think Mourinho would be brilliant for Chelsea. I think he's one of the only people, in fact, that could take the job. I think he might be the only person in the world that could take the job and unite the club, considering how the disparity between everyone at the club. The fans hate the ownership. The owners don't know what they're doing. The manager hates the club. The manager hates the fans. You know, there's just complete and utter disharmony.
What a mess.
I mean, he hates like,
£1 billion.
Some of the fans even hate the manager. I think.
I've never ever. No, I hate the manager absolutely, but he hates us. I almost admire it. He's not ever done one thing to try and harmonise the club. He's not done one thing to try and ingratiate himself into the culture of Chelsea Football Club. Do you know very simple things? He's never once clapped the fans after a game. Just very simple thing. Never once. I'll tell you what he has done though at the end of games at Stamford Bridge.
If
there's a and me directly. If there's a if there's a former Tottenham, if there's a former Tottenham player on the pitch, so Cole Walker's playing for Man City or whatever, beeline for him. He's doing his whole Tottenham thing. And look, I appreciate that they're friends. I'm not like totally.
But do it in the tunnel.
Have a little bit of respect. So I think that what we need is just somebody. I'd like Mourinho, but if not Mourinho, what's Luis Enrique doing? Let's talk about Zinedine Zidane. I know that there's nothing in it for them to take the job. I understand why Zinedine
London
Zidane
Life, lots of cash.
Oh, but
Rory.
If you're a Man United manager, the next Man United manager, the answer to the question, can you apply? Have you won a Champions League?
They can't attract those people.
That's way too reductive.
Also, I think that's kind of like a weird way of looking at it because some of those managers, like with Mourinho, for example, that's why we brought in him before. He wins trophies. Actually, the guys hate, like, you just hated everything about it when he was
Would you have Mourinho back?
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
Because he's Chelsea, isn't he? In the way that Pochettino is.
I wanted to jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
But Adam, he is also your most successful. I understand the way you're feeling is very relevant here, but the facts are that he's your most successful.
The only manager I'd bring back would be Ali.
It's the world that he created, though, isn't it?
We're fun, man. We beat you every time we played you, mate.
Adam, but
He's looking fourth.
I feel exactly the same as you, and Jose Mourinho didn't even win anything with Spurs. So the fact that you want him back,
He sacked him on the eve of a cup final.
The last two times he's been at your football club has been an unmitigated.
I think Postecoglou should leave Spurs.
See, this is the funny thing about this. Is an towards the end. Funny thing. It's not an unmitigated failure. We won the league and beat you in a cup final.
He's just on the end going.
Every fucking video.
Man United get relegated.
It's been an unmitigated. He went. It's been an unmitigated disaster when Mourinho's been there before. I went last time. We won the league and beat you in a cup final. We went apart from that.
So that what he just said isn't what I said at all, and I might have misworded my statement, but fundamentally at the end of Mourinho's tenureship at Chelsea, both times it was a mess, and it will be that way again.
But it's also very misleading. People always say this about the Antonio Conte. It was a disaster. The second season of Conte was a disaster. Do you know what? And it was. But do you know what? Hang on.
And they're right.
It was a disaster for what we once were and what we want to be. So just to explore what the disaster was, we finished 5th in the league and beat Manchester United in the FA Cup final. Mourinho's Manchester United. Yeah. That then was a disaster. We won the cup, beating Man United and finished 5th in the league. Disaster.
William walked past our fan cams at the end with his luggage.
Yeah, because he fell out with Conte.
And then we thought, hold on, he's coming to United because he was linked with us at that point, which was weird.
Should we predict them then? Should we just do it in order?
Can we just talk about a few of the other teams before we do? West Ham, Brighton, Wolves, Canadians.
You got somewhere to be, mate.
Honestly, every video ends up with Rory going, I want Mourinho back at Chelsea. We're doing a video about top 4 in Europe. You're trying to be in the top half of the table.
We're arguing, by the way.
Should we just predict them, yeah? We got places to go. We'll be out of here in half hour, mate. Yeah, predict them.
You're bottom of the screen there. You're right at the bottom of the screen.
There going, Ange Postecoglou's crap. He was just looking for an argument with someone.
So really, it's all about expectations, right? You talk about Conte being a disaster, but actually it wasn't. And if we bring this back to expectations, I think it's fair to say Villa have overachieved this season by a small margin. I don't think you would have expected to be like in the top 4 at this stage and making Champions League. Do we think that Spurs have underachieved or overachieved?
Overachieved.
We're about
overachieved.
In the first part.
Right. Spurs being
I think Spurs are quite right. But do you think, given the entire context of the season, that Ten Hag has underachieved in the league at United this year?
Yes.
Of course. He spent 400 million
We've
in the
lost
last
12
2
league
years.
games.
He's
Goes without
under.
saying.
It's not even the fact that you've lost 12 league games.
sixth in the league.
You have scrap. Remember when you were the most informed team in the league?
We weren't really.
No, I know, but remember you were.
There was a small patch.
Like
There was a
Sheffield
small patch.
United,
When was that?
Luton and like Everton. By one
lads.
goal. No, listen to me.
They
My
win
point
one
was-
game and they say the most informed side in Europe.
Listen to his point, man.
Fucking hell.
I'm trying to slate Manchester United and you won't even
A
let me
few
get my words out.
years ago, you would have been in this video. You'd been in the
You're not a
championship
Man
video.
United fan.
We'd be talking about the championship against Rotherham.
He was on your team then, and now
Predict the team.
Sorry, Vincent.
just cuss man.
Sorry,
I've
Vincent.
lost-
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate.
I've lost that.
Can I say that Manchester
What he was
United
trying to say was when we were the most informed team, we were still.
How do you know?
Manchester United have
Paraphrasing for it.
underperformed this season, but Ten Hag hasn't. This is his part, and that's the problem.
Do you know what as well?
I
I
also
don't want to
think-
do this, but Tottenham have massively overachieved this season.
We
Think
haven't
about the club.
overachieved.
I think it's about right.
But they're only there because
think of
it's
the
a
club that
product
he
of
took over.
Chelsea being
Think of the
shit.
club. Think of the club that he took over.
Yeah.
Think of the club that he took over. They were a team in turmoil. They lost their best player. They brought in a manager that lots of people, not me, but lots of people laughed at, scoffed at, said that he did the business in
you're right.
Scotland. This is massive. Mate, he's taken over a club where they've lost their best player. They then signed a lot of players that all felt fairly underwhelming
I
at the
remember
time.
saying at the time, we kind of had an argument.
they got their
about it.
third choice
I thought
manager.
they had a very good team.
Yeah,
like when you
spot
looked at their front line, Richarlison, Kulusevski, Son, I thought it was out.
It wasn't, but when
you
he
got,
took
the
over,
likes
too.
of Bentancur, Basuma, I always
lost their
thought
best
they
player,
had
So,
a nucleus of a
to
very
Rory's
good team.
point, the expectation from the fan base, Spurs fan base, my own expectation wasn't the fact that we're going to finish in the Champions League.
Yeah.
We didn't think that. We were just looking for perhaps a similar position to last season, 8th or 7th, but the
But you
football.
enjoy it.
Enjoy it, yeah. And you know how important that is to
Who's been the most important for you this year? Because obviously Kane's gone, and that was always the most
Wow,
important.
this is what I mean. The both defenders, Romero and Van der Ven, Maddison
Do you
naturally,
think
and
you would
Son,
be competing for the league if Kane had stayed? Genuinely.
without a shadow of a doubt.
I don't think so. I
do
think
as well.
I think Kane, when
causes
Kane was
problems.
there,
I know
So
he's
why don't you do it
it's not
before
that he
Kane?
caused the
Because they're a
problem.
better team now, Booth.
He would have buried
better
so many
team.
chances.
I think they're the
He'd
same
have as
team
many
without
goals for
Kane.
Tottenham as he has for Bayern
I think they
Munich.
play at a very
I think
similar
it'll be,
level without Kane, just a different style.
Spot on.
No.
Spot on.
How can you
I
take a
agree.
world-class player? How can you take one of the best players in the world
they're a
out
better
of a team
team.
and get better?
Because
They're a
everybody
better
else
team.
plays better
No,
without Kane.
This is why a better team with Kane.
Bayern are worse with Kane.
Trust me, I've watched every single minute.
Bayern a second for the first time in 10
It's
years.
nothing to do with Harry Kane, though, is it?
Well, why not?
Because
broken
Have you seen the
He's
tweets
broken
in
records
German
over
saying, "We didn't sign a DM. Get up top, you dickhead."
That's why Kane is without doubt one of the
dickhead.
best strikers in the Premier League history. But he does drop deep a lot, and he does impress the way a lot of the modern teams. do.
Kane is the best striker in Premier League history, but we don't need to get into
Oh,
that.
for
but-
God's sake, man. This is top four.
How long we
debate.
got on this video? Throwing out a statement. like that.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that everybody apart from
Outrageous.
Flav and I thought that Tottenham would be in a title race with Harry Kane.
But do you think Tottenham are
They're
only
nearly in a title race
I
without
still
him.
think Kane's an unbelievable player. It's because of Spurs in general.
Do you think Tottenham are there
That
because they've been good?
doesn't
Or do you
mean
think it's Do you think Tottenham are there because they've been really good, or do you think it's because Chelsea, Newcastle, United?
We
are
are
I think
way
it's
off
6
the
of
pace?
one and half a dozen of the other.
we are where we are, largely in part to the injury crisis we had in the mid-season, because before that Chelsea game, where it essentially changed the and you should be very proud of this, is it changed the way the season went for us. We're looking sensational, and that losing both centre backs and the midfield
And getting battered 4-1.
and getting battered 4-1 was massive, right? It's huge, and you had to suddenly readjust. And I lofty expectations, and plus the expectations that were created in that first 10 games wasn't healthy.
Yeah, you were talking about win the league. I remember.
I absolutely, yeah, 100%. Of course, why couldn't we
Luton?
win?
And you were celebrating. When you
wasn't celebrating. We
You
was
made an
having a
Amazon
conversation.
documentary about beating Luton.
You can look towards the end of the season and go, we might do all right this season. That doesn't mean we're
No, but
celebrating
everyone
winning
was
the league
parading in the
after 10
stadium,
games.
holding hands, weren't they? They were all holding hands at the
I
stadium.
actually do remember.
I've got it on my Twitter bio.
Last minute winner.
Got it on my Twitter bio.
It's on the little banner on my Twitter, man. Check it out.
But,
Honestly,
but
it
there
was
is a
embarrassing.
question about the change in philosophy, and that was a big part of it. It's about creating a football team and a supporter base that is pulling in the right direction. And that's what Postecoglou did, and the most successful thing he's done this season. It was always going to be a moment of transition. It's always going to be a moment of transition, the season, the amount of money.
Spurs are favourite for the league next season, so Flav, that's what you're saying?
Tottenham Hotspur will be in the... Tottenham
Harry Kane will be back at Spurs in 2 seasons.
Could be, but Tottenham will be in the Premier League title
and
race
he'll make
this
you
time next
worse
season.
when he comes back.
You were in a cup this decade.
No, they haven't won it.
All right, so
The
let's
Conference
all joking
League's
aside,
here
let's rank the teams. Are we going top 7 or how far are we going?
We'll go to 7th. Obviously, we've done...
Villa.
No one cares. though. Who
Newcastle,
cares?
Chelsea, who cares?
We've done the top
won't be
3 on
either.
our
Won't be either.
Premier
Be
League
West
title
Ham.
race video. So if you want to check that out, go to that video.
I'm going to Tottenham, Villa, United.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going
Tottenham 4th.
I'm going Tottenham, United, Villa.
I'm going to have to go Villa, Tottenham, United. 1% chance.
Villa, Tottenham, United.
United finish above Villa. Watch.
No way.
Oh,
I really hope much this.
if that happens,
I love you, Adam. I love you, Adam.
Watch. You know when they got battered by Spurs? Was it Spurs or Newcastle? the other day? Who did they lose to?
Right, fighting cock.
Villa.
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, when they lost that day, and I looked at their team, I just thought
Beaten men.
the wheels are about to fall off here.
Yeah, all right.
We might only need.
Fine, I'm in.
We might only
Spurs,
need.
United, Villa.
We might
I'm,
only
I'm
need.
back.
I think we
Go
need
on,
to.
tell me how many points you
If
need.
we
Go on,
win
tell me how
6
many
games
10
and
games
draw
left.
2 to get 20 points, we finish above the Villa.
So that means you
We
finish.
finished on 67. I don't think you win 5 games.
So we need to win 4 games and draw 2 out of our.
Actually,
That means we have too many points. We have an
right.
8-point head start.
yeah, maybe we have one more.
Obviously, Fint and I are poker players. We're betting men. And
If
I
you
would
boys
love to
wanna
go.
bet.
I would love to go with you and put United ahead of Villa, but I wouldn't be putting money on it. I wouldn't be putting money. on it.
You can't finish 6th in the league and Ten Hag not be sacked. That's mental. Get rid of him.
If they get
He'll be sacked regardless.
No,
won't he?
we need to
Yeah,
stick
get
by
sacked.
him, man.
Does he
Stick
not
by
get
him.
sacked genuinely?
Buvey, why are you
Say
saying
it goes
things
really
like
well
that?
for Manchester City. If it goes really well for
same
Manchester
as
United and they
everyone
get top 4,
If
He's still not
they
the
make
manager next
Champions
season,
League, there's
is
no
he?
way
Yeah,
you
he
can
is.
sack him. If
Really?
he-
They won't make Champions League.
Yeah, but they're not.
No,
I
but
don't think we'll
I
make
thought
Champions
even
League.
if
and I
they
think
do
there's a
make
good
Champions
chance
League,
they'll
they
be-
still need.
Man United haven't done
keep
back-to-back Champions League apart from when Ollie was there.
hasn't it been
Since
traditionally the sack the manager the moment mathematically you can't get Champions
Yeah,
League
exactly.
because of the sponsorship.
Moyes,
money.
that happened with Moyes, happened with Van Gaal,
I think it happened with Mourinho.
happened with Mourinho. Listen, I believe Ten Hag
Maybe Mourinho's earlier.
deserves some time.
The minute it ever starts going wrong, just sack the manager. Get rid of him. Get a new one.
It
works
says
for
a lot
us.
that you're saying if Manchester United win the cup and finish 6th.
Baldy, I love you. I got you.
It's a good season.
It's not a good season, no.
It's-
but I also believe we have to go
acceptable.
backwards to go forwards at some point. And you know, to change Manchester United, it takes a lot to change what was wrong with the club. And last season, nothing was perfect, but he still managed to get third in a trophy. And this season, yes, we've had a lot of injuries, but I also feel like there's a lot of issues with this squad. We got some young players coming in. We got some older players that maybe shouldn't be
you know
there.
what I think it all comes down to?
Maguire's
One
played
thing.
most games centre back. Guess what? He wanted to sell him. McTominay played a lot of games. Guess what? He wanted to sell. So a lot of the players that you're looking at that are appearing for Man United, I don't even think he wants to be there.
I'm just
so I want
personally-
to see him benefit.
So where do you think
from
United
having
finish
that
at?
structure? We finish 5th. Keep Ten Hag. We
Get
win
him
the
out.
FA Cup. Hopefully we're still in as this is uploaded.
Someone's watching. It's in April going.
Yeah. Get smashed in the FA Cup, man.
Oh man.
I could personally never support a manager who allowed £90 million to be spent on Anthony. I just couldn't.
I don't know
He
how
was
much
80,
that was
but-
in then. I think from what I've read on Hurdle, obviously you never know, but I've heard he said he
19
wanted Anthony,
19
and then
million.
they've just gone out and
All right.
done
They
their
could have
bollocks
got
on
to
him.
30 earlier as well.
Exactly.
Buvey, who was your top 7 from? Well, from
Spurs, Villa, United.
You think United? Oh, in descending order.
Yeah, Spurs come 4th.
has everyone done this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we have.
Yeah.
We have.
I'm worried.
Where do we think? By the way, just before we do wrap up this conversation, where do we think Chelsea finish?
Don't care.
Did you finish
we
top
do
half
care.
last season? Would it be progress
No,
if we
no,
got it this
12th.
year?
12th,
So
I think.
top half we go progress.
You finished
It would
12th.
not be
Team
good
12
progress.
last year.
Didn't we?
You're on the rise.
Sounds ridiculous.
We're on the up. We're soaring.
season
We're
they've
soaring
had.
like an eagle.
Will Poch be there next season?
No, God, no. Hopefully
Poch is
not.
gonna be at
Nothing,
United.
anything. Anyone but Poch.
I'd say
ABP.
Poch will be at United. Ten Hag will be there.
give Potter another chance.
I'm ABP.
What does that mean?
Anyone but Pochettino.
Or Potter. Potter ends
Or
up being
Potter.
Who would go there, though? Who would go there?
don't give
Get
me
Lampard.
No.
Get Lampard.
On that note,
Vibes and that.
thank you very much to everyone for tuning in. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Get your predictions in the comments below. Go and check out our guests as well. Their links are in the description. We got Spraggy, Finton, and of course, the one and only fighting cock that is Flav.
Good. Good.
See you later.